Welcome back, y'all. Good to see you jumping on here again. Wanted to kind of hit on a few things. Mr. Barry Habib, who I keep coming back to him, but he had a conversation with Mr. Mark Calabria, the head of the FHFA, the guy who oversees all of, Fannie and Freddie and kind of gives some guidance on things. Really good conversation that he had put out there that he had with him. And one of the things rather interesting, his conversation with us. He talked about how Calabria was an academic and how he didn't quite understand this. Well, after he had a conversation with him, he said that it was an amazing conversation, great data. They're having to face a lot of different things out there when it comes to what they're looking to try and accomplish with all they're being hit with from the federal level. So pretty cool thing to hear back on. He did say that he got some more details about the Fannie Mae servicing guide that had to do with forbearance, because we talked about last time, or maybe it's the time before, about the forbearance thing, how you'd have to bring it current and then be current for another year before you're eligible for financing again. He said that is definitely in there. That is the case. He did talk to Mark Calabria about it. That is there. But they're talking about what can they do with that. They don't have answers to the question quite yet, but they want to be able to figure out what can we do to work through the situation that people are having to deal with right now. So let's think about why that exists. If a person has been put in a position where they need forbearance, they had a difficulty with payments, they had to take that time. I know about that. I went through that in 2008. I'll even get into that a little bit. I had to use forbearance. I was in a wheelchair. I wasn't working. There was no money coming in. So because of that, we need to be able to make sure people are stable. They bring everything current. They've got stability of life. After whatever that hit was that they took, they've stabilized their life enough before we put them in a position to have to go, use other leverage. So just know that there's a purpose behind it, because if a person's life has gone that crazy, you want to make sure that they're in a good position before you go and put more on them. So when you think about that, I don't know what they can do to make it changed. I mean, I know nobody saw this coming. I get it. I get that we had a global pandemic. That's a big dang deal. But we're also talking about real estate investment. If you had capital coming in, you had reserves coming in, we talked about that. Get your reserves, build reserves, run it like a business. And you weren't prepared for whatever happens. It could be coronavirus. It can be people losing jobs in the area where you're purchasing. You could have bought near a military base and they shut the base down. All these things, you didn't prepare for it as a business. Then, unfortunately, that's in a way on you. And I'm not trying to bust your kind of busting your chops here. Sorry, but we need to be prepared for those things with our businesses. To be completely straight, we have to be prepared for that. I got to be prepared for that. So when things happen, we got to be ready for it. And we're getting an experience right now. We're getting to learn from this. So what do you learn from? What do you take from it? I had to learn from 2008. I went indiscriminately buying things because property values were going up. I wasn't going after cash flow. I wasn't putting reserves the way I was supposed to. In fact, I had a bigger expense going out, not than I had coming in. I had a lot coming in at the time, but when it dried up and the faucet shut off, I didn't have the capability to be able to keep it going. And what really hurt me was when I got in that accident. I woke up in a hospital, had to go learn how to walk again, was put in a wheelchair, and I had to wheel into these title companies and sign away for short sales, foreclosure notices, all that kind of stuff hitting me. I had to be on the phone talking with these banks about negotiating some of these loans that I had in some sort of form of modification or forbearance. And I had to go through all that. I know what it's like. So now I've prepared differently. I've learned from that. We're all going to get collectively knocked down. We as an entire globe got knocked to our knees at this, and some people knocked all the way to the ground. Since we've all been hit, how do we learn from this? What do we do going forward? There is definitely opportunity in this, in the sense that everybody got knocked down. Are you going to get back up? A lot of the population, I think this is the last form of real natural selection left, because we've nullified a lot of it physically with medicine, and we've nullified a lot of responsibility with legislation. So because of that, the last real form of natural selection left is when we all get knocked down, who gets back up and keeps going? Even if you're just barely moving, even if you barely struggle to your feet and you're staggering like Quasimodo trying to move forward, you're still moving while the rest of them are laying down. You got these pile of corpses just laying there, people not wanting to move. They're just going to lick their wounds. By the time they get back up and decide they're going to do something, you could be miles down the trail at that point, even if you're just barely moving. right? But then you're going to be able to accelerate because you feel better and better and start getting your legs underneath you. So that's what we need to do. We need to be prepared. How do we get moving forward? Like I said before, start with your morning. Start with getting your morning routine down. So enough preaching on that kind of thing. Let's talk some rates. Let's see where the market's going today. We had the jobs report come out, and it hit pretty hard as far as the jobs. We had record number of unemployment, 20 million hit. So look at those unemployment numbers. We'll look those up. But you can see the market's held really steady as far as mortgage-backed securities are right there in the middle of the trading lane, like right where we've been trying to keep it. So I think the Fed bought like 5.8 billion today, if I remember correctly, 5.8, 5.7 billion today. So we're trying to keep it within that 5 and 6 range. Still a lot of money that they're purchasing. Absolutely crazy. But you can see we're still maintaining this position, very steady. What's really interesting to me right now is that we have this massive number that comes in for unemployment, which usually really hurts the stock market and helps the bond market. But take a look at this. The Dow is up 302 points. I know that they've been anticipating this high jobs number, and that's really what it boils down to: anticipation and what comes out as far as reality once those anticipated numbers are accounted for. Anticipated numbers was right around what we got, so therefore they feel good. It's like, hey, we're understanding the economy, let's go forward. And so that's what I'm understanding is going on here. It's a very emotional purchase as far as the stock's concerned, is what I understand from people that are communicating this to me. But the rates are staying consistent, and when it comes to that, just know eventually I think they're going to go up. They're going to taper back, and I know a lot of people are scrambling. It's like, well, the rates are low. I want to purchase now. Just know when the rates go up, we're still going to be in great shape. There's still deals out there to be had. I was still closing 700 plus transactions a year when the rates were in the high fives. Go back to 2017. It was December 2017 where our current Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, started quantitative tightening. Up to that point, they're putting $10-20 billion a month into the mortgage-backed securities pools to keep those rates low. Then they did quantitative tightening, which is they stopped putting the money in, shrunk it all the way down to 100 million. From 20 billion to 100 billion, that's a big gap. So what happened there is the interest rates went up. So a situation that I ran into, I had a client buying 2 properties, both new build properties in Memphis, Tennessee. Same floor plan, same price, same potential rents, same street. The only difference between the two is one was just about done being built. The other one was still a bare lot they had yet to break ground on. And then I think the floor plans were flipped. So one had a garage on the right side, the other had a garage on the left side, but that was it. Everything else was pretty much the same. He closed on the first one in December of 2017 before the quantitative tightening at 4.75% rate. Very, very happy. Move forward to May of 2018, after the quantitative tightening had really kicked in, the interest rate had gone up to 5.75%, 1 full percentage point difference. So he calls me up and says, Aaron, I don't know that I'm going to buy that property. I think I'm going to cancel property too. I'm like, why is that? Because I'm losing $600 a year. I had to ask him, how do you think you're losing $600 a year? He goes, well, the difference is $49.97 per month in the payment. So when you round up and average it over 12 months, that's $600. And I'm putting out the exact same amount of money. So why would I do that? Like, well, as a trusted advisor at your board table, I ask you to do one thing. He goes, what's that? And I said, before you decide, you just finished your taxes, right? He goes, yep. So call your CPA and ask him, what's the difference in the taxes you will pay on the higher income on property 1 versus the lower income on property 2? Then ask him, what is the tax deduction you get on the higher interest on property 1 versus the lower interest on property 2? And then call me back. I mean, just check it out. Well, he called me back 3 days later, so let's move forward and close. And I said, well, why are we closing? So, well, when I got done with my CPA, we talked it all over. He says the difference is no longer $49.97 per month. By the time I file my taxes and do all the things that I'm doing with my real estate business, he goes, it's about $3.55. Let's go forward. Now, is that going to work for everybody? I can't say that. I don't know. I don't know how your taxes are set up. But look at the possibilities. One of the most tax-favored asset classes on the planet is people who own real estate. So when you think about that, moving forward in an environment, whether the rates are up or whether they're down, you got to find a deal that works. Rents we know go up, and we'll talk about that the next time we talk about the inflation, what's going on with rents, and how to look at that, and how your income's coming up. But now look at if you fulfill the entire process of your business, doing your taxes and all those things, and properly setting up your business. There's a lot more to it than what's my rate and what's my cash flow. We already know what's going on with the amortization. We already talked about that last time. Now look at this, where interest rates don't matter as much. Yeah, you want to get the rates that the good rates are available to you now, but it's not something to concern yourself with and call all these hundreds of lenders and figure out who's got the best rate. So they're going to go up, they're going to adjust. Talk to your CPA, talk to your team. Be sure you have a good team. The other, I haven't talked about this in a while. The books, guys. Any of you, I've been seeing a lot of people send me pictures. Thank you. I'm putting it up on social media. I want the world to know there's people out there that are part of the QJO army, if you will. But also, if you don't mind, go to Amazon. Give me a review. I'd love to have that. Also, you can go to my Google page and give us a 5-star. We'd definitely appreciate that. And subscribe to this channel, this YouTube channel, because we want to keep getting content out there to people. We want to make sure that's popping up when people are searching for information about real estate investments. But I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate all the good comments. If there's anything I need to be touching on, anything I need to dig deeper into and understand, let me know. I'll definitely research the topic and bring it to you guys. Thank you.